about yourself?
Good morning, Bhuvna. I have nothing much to tell you except that I went to National Defence Academy when I was 16. I was commissioned into Regiment of Artillery in 1969. I have spent 30 years, wonderful years with the Indian Army. 95, I retired from Defence Services Staff College where I was teaching as a member of the faculty. Got into real estate and in 2001 made my own company called Kovai Property Center India Private Limited and entered into real estate development. In 2004 we started as an experiment senior living communities with my first project in Coimbatore, and that caught the imagination of the people. So we, over a period of the last 20 years, we have done about 18 such projects in South India. And that's what we are doing even today, to taking care of the seniors as they are aging. We have now concentrated more on care. And basically from serving the army to serving the seniors is perhaps what I was meant to do as decided by God. Even though they both have no connection, I'm doing that.
That's very interesting, Colonel. How did you evolve this concept of persons with disability care?
If you really ask me, a question was asked to me by a lady called Nina Wong. She was that time the secretary of Autism for Action Delhi, and now she runs her own NGO called ALAP, where individual special adults stay together in an apartment complex. So when Nina wrote me this letter, then I called her back and we had a long chat to understand as to what exactly she wants. She said that the senior living communities can take care of such autism or Down syndrome adults, and they can live so that even the parents after their demise will know that they are safe. The idea was very simple, but then when we went deeper into it, it took us time. I think I was fortunate to know Sridharan Narayanan, who used to be a colleague in my office, and he is also the managing trustee of Amaze Trust in Coimbatore, and they run a daycare center for special children. His wife Achal is a very well-known special educator. So Sriram and we had a long conversation, and Sriram said that if we can create a model that will be wonderful for so many thousands of families. So then I requested Sriram to join me full-time as far as this concept is concerned, and then he did. And it took us 3 years to evolve this concept. And along the way, we journeyed to many places, right from New Delhi to Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, Spastic Society, you name, like Bubble Center for Autism in Bangalore, AFA in Delhi. We had a long chat with Mary Barua and parents of the special adults, and then we evolved this concept and we put it up, we circulated it and then finalized it and put it up in our website.
Thank you for sharing that wonderful concept with us, Colonel. Could you tell us more about the governance model of your concept?
Sriram and we went about this governance model, which is very important. We are talking about taking care of these special adults after the demise of the parents. So long as they are living with the parents, we are not much concerned, except that activities which they have to do. So we said, okay, let us create a 3-tier model. At the apex, we created the CovaiCare Trust, which is a public trust and which also gives you ATG sanction under the Income Tax Act. The trustees of this CovaiCare Trust, we ensure that there are 3 parents of PWD, and the 4th one is myself as the managing trustee, and the 5th is the vice president, HR and legal for my company, who helped us to refine these legal issues for this model. And of course, what we also decided that at any point of time, if any changes have to be made to the structure of this, the trustees, but we'll always maintain 3 parents of PWD and 2 who will not have children of special needs, so that there is some sort of a balance to at least the emotional issues, we can iron it out. So that is the apex trust. At the community level, where that means that at the retirement community level, where we have this concept available, we have created a Section 8 company under the Register of Companies. You can say, why Section 8 company? Section 8 company is also, it is actually a non-profit, and secondly, it can attract donation, and there is a lot of transparency in the accounts, and the directors can be from within the parents of the special adults. So we call the Section 8 company as a foundation, and it takes the name of the retirement community. For example, in Coimbatore, it is Kovai Chinmayam Foundation, because it is located in Kovai Chinmayam Retirement Community. This foundation has 7 directors in rotation for all parents of the PWD living in that community. And the 6th one is a trustee from the CovaiCare Trust, and the 7th is an owner and resident of the particular community, so that we have all the people concerned are connected in this. At the level of the individuals, you are supposed to create a beneficiary trust as per the Government of India rules. So the beneficiary trust, you normally appoint a guardian, and we also request that the CCF be made another guardian should for any reason the guardian be unavailable or he is not in a position to take care of the special adult. The CCF can always step in and ensure that the special child is happy. The one thing that we have done very nicely was that the CovaiCare Foundation, the CovaiCare Trust and the Kovai Chinmayam Foundation are interlinked. As far as the services and care is given by the company, there is a separate services agreement, so that tomorrow if the company changes hands, the services and care can be given to the special adults. So that is the governance model that we have.
That was beautiful, Karan. What about the living arrangements for the PSWs? Do they live with their parents or do they live in a hostel?
A good question. My entire concept which Sridharan has evolved is basically based on the premise that during the lifetime of the parents, their special adult or special children will stay and live with them. However, even if they are capable of living independently in the same house that they are living in today after the demise of the parents, we feel that there should be a hostel accommodation available during their lifetime itself. So every parent, every PWD who comes to the Chinmayam Foundation is also allotted a hostel room on a refundable deposit. The room is done up as the particular PWD would like to have it by the parents. The warden also has her quarters in the same hostel. The hostel is ground, first and second floor. It has got lift and staircases. It has 3 activity centers also structured here, and it also has a place for a caregiver station inside. And it is security has been very well worked out, including CCTV cameras in the passages, and we use sensors, very large number of sensors for the other safety in case the child opens the door or closes the door. So this hostel becomes a part and parcel of this PWD concept, and we have named this hostel as Karpagam Hostel, Basically because Mrs. Karpagam used to be one of our residents. She did a lot for the special children. She also had a special son. Unfortunately, he is no more. And Ma'am Karpagam also went on leave, and then to Bombay, she fell ill, and she also has left this world. So her husband is with us, but this block has been named after her for the exceptional work that he did in the initial stages for this concept.
Very nice of you to dedicate that block to Mrs. Karpagam. What about the care of PWD, especially those requiring caregivers?
A good question. So far, what we have found is that the number of caregivers that we need is not proportionate to the number of special adults that we have, because we find that the majority of them are capable of leading an independent life, and which has to be made active through our activity center, where they join and they come. There's a structured time they spend. Some of the parents also get involved, and it's a joyous look. I mean, place is full of fun and laughter, and that's where they live most of the time in the day. If anyone needs a caregiving attention, especially somebody who has got cerebral palsy, we arrange the caregivers, and the caregivers are also monitored and maintained. I mean, their work is monitored by the warden, so that we know that what exactly she needs, how she does. There's a caregiver station also in the hostel. So ultimately, we ensure that the CCF finds these caregivers, and over a period of time. I want you to tell only one important aspect is we are not talking of immediate care and such kind of requirements, because today the parents are all alive. It's only when they are not alive. We are talking in terms of a time span of perhaps 20-30 years ahead. My eldest special adult is only 60, then it is 56, and then it is 49. So it goes in that age group. So if you give them that kind of a lifestyle, then we have to think about it that time. I'm sure the CCF will continue to find answers to the specific requirement of caregivers.
Thank you for that, Kanthi. Can you please tell us more about the corpus and the beneficiary trust funds?
The corpus is the amount that has to be left by the parents, depending upon the type of care that their children may require. And this is worked out during their lifetime along with the CCF. And the amount is made available in the corpus of the beneficiary trust. The warden is normally the one who is made in charge, but during the lifetime, this is not the whole financial transaction for the PWD is handled by the parents. So this corpus, we have said that only the interest can be used for the day-to-day living, like food or some personal items that they like to buy, or some hospitalization, etc., or medicines. So that is what they can use, and that has to come out of the interest. And the corpus as such should not be touched. After the demise of the parents, since the PWD will be moved, will be staying in the hostel, their house can be sold by the CovaiCare Trust and CCF at the market rate, and this can be added to the corpus. For that, and the care of the PWD, we will need a will to be signed by both the parents or the last of the surviving parents to ensure that this particular corpus is available for use of their own child after the demise of the parents. So, because we have said only the interest has to be used, there could be contingencies when a severe medical requirement, severe medical expenses has to be met. For example, somebody has to undergo a bypass surgery, and let us say that they don't have the medical insurance for that, in which case there is extra money is required over and above the interest accrued in the individual beneficiary trust. The CovaiCare Trust will chip in And because they get donations, they can offset the remaining money so that at no point of time the PWD is hard pressed for lack of money.
Thank you for that, Colonel. Now, then my next question is, how do you settle the estate of PWD after their demise? What happens?
Good question. Because they are PWD, you cannot have their property in their names. It can't be registered in their names as per laws. So the property will always be with the parent's name, and on the demise of the parent, it has to be settled as per the will which the parents leave behind. A copy of the will is given to us with regard to this particular house, and the value of the house that we realize on selling it will go into the corpus. So there are certain agreements that the parents have to sign to say this. So there is money available in the corpus of the PWD, and the will also indicate as to whom that money should be given. For example, if they have another child, or if they want to donate it to CovaiCare Trust or any other trust or whatever, anybody else they want to give it, if they write it, we will execute that will as per their whatever they want, and ensure that the estate is settled. It will also include whatever refundable deposit they have paid. That money will also be taken.
Thank you for that, Colonel. As a parent, there will be this another question which people want to ask. Can I leave my child behind and in the hostel and they'll be taken care of, and I live elsewhere?
The answer is no. The answer is no, because the entire model is based on the parents living with their special children. The CCF itself is made that way, that the parents are de facto, as a group, they are caring for their own children in rotation, or they can say that they are not permanent. Everybody is not required to be part of the CCF. What we can do in this concept is, if the parents have to go out, let us say for 5 days, 7 days, somewhere to attend wedding or any such festivities, the CCF should be able to say yes, they can go, and then they can definitely go out. We also feel that some respite is needed for the parents instead of taking care of the child every day. That is why they come to the hub, the activity center. So in the daytime, at least, they are taken care of by the warden and others. And at that time, they can also go out. And since the children are going to get used to the hostel room during their lifetime, it's possible for them to come and stay there for 1 or 2 nights with the warden's watch. And that will also give them a courage and an independence and the space that the child needs as he or she grows with age. Today, I think all of us need space. Special children are not different in this aspect.
You've gone into a lot of details, Kanthi. Thank you very much for that. Good point. This is my last question. If there is one desire that you have in spreading this beautiful, inclusive living, next question can be this. What would that be? One in.
I think what we need for the special children to adopt similar concept, the number is too many. What is available is very, very, very small amount. I also know that there are other models which people are trying to create and run it successfully too. But at the end of the day, if we want this particular model of inclusive living created by Sridharan and I, we need real estate developers in a township project to allot certain number of dwellings, not necessarily in a separate block, but as part of every tower or every block, so that we can adopt this model with a little bit of infrastructure that it may be required to do. The real estate developer doesn't lose any money. he gets more number of people to come and occupy. There is a variety of people living there and supporting each other, and special children are also one of us in our family, in one of us in our society, and they are no different. Each one is very special, each one is very specially talented, and I think we should not segregate them, include them in our lives, and take them along as to whatever we can do so that this particular model can be replicated. Those of the organizations from autism, Down syndrome, or cerebral palsy, you want to join hands with the dealership developer, and if you want to do this model, we'll give you this entire learnings from what Sriram and I developed to you. And for that, we will not charge you any money, but whatever you wish to donate to the CovaiCare Trust, you may kindly do so, because that also goes through the spreading of this PWD life only. It will be our pleasure in case we can do this, and you can always contact me, send me an email, and we will do the needful. And last but not the least, I want to say that I am very grateful to the Purple Fest organizers to having given us this opportunity. This particular video will also have spoken by two members of the CCF as to how exactly CCF is running. Our model is also available in our website. You can download it as a free download, and our trust documents are also being uploaded. There is also an FAQ section about this same model that is also going to be available in our website. So all this is available, and the copies of all this is also available with the organizers of Purple Fest. And anything else they want from us, we'll be extremely happy to share. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to welcome Ms. Kanthi Chari and Mr. K.S. Nair, Directors of the Kovai Chinmayam Foundation, or CCF in short. Besides being at the helm of CCF, they are also parents of persons with intellectual disabilities. We are here today to know a little more from them about the CCF project and the journey so far. Welcome, both of you. How did the concept of CCF emerge and evolve?
I think the concept of CCF emerged maybe around 2013-14 when Colonel Sridharan of CovaiCare was in touch with a few parents in and around Coimbatore, specifically Mr. Sriram for Maze Trust.
Thank you very much, Lekha. We came into CCF after we saw on the website the Colonel Sridharan's vision about persons with who after us for the persons with, if you have a disabled child. So we were very interested. We came, then we understood what the project was. At that time, Mr. Sriram was there, and he explained the whole concept, how exactly it will evolve.
At that time, he had been running a retirement community in Coimbatore, which now goes under the name of S3, and that had been running for about 8 or 10 years. A need has been felt by parents of special need adults as to what happens after their time and who will look after these special adults. So, since Colonel Sridharan was already in the area of senior care, he thought about integrating senior care communities and getting parents of special needs adults into that community.
And Colonel Sridharan wanted the parents to come in first and start the project, kick-started, so that it can evolve into something more beneficial to these persons with disabilities.
With the promise and the expectation that after their time, those adults would be looked after by CovaiCare within the community. Fleshing this out a little more, a lot of work was done on a document which is now available on their website called the Master Document for Persons with Disabilities. In this document, there is a 3-tier structure of organizations which will assist in making sure that these persons with disability are looked after both during the time of their parents as well as after that.
So our whole focus was on the persons with disabilities, our children or the adults we had, and we wanted to do something about it. We came here, and then we initially we were around 5 of us, 5 adults with disabilities. So we wanted to start something to keep them engaged. It was immediately after the COVID, where we had to take into the fact that over the last 8 months before the COVID, they were all not engaged and sitting at home.
The structure essentially consists of CovaiCare Trust, which is headed by Colonel Sridharan, and has on its board a number of parents as trustees. This organization then oversees a community trust. So typically in each community where there are parents of special needs adults, there will be a community organization or a trust formed. So the oversight of CovaiCare Trust over these community trusts or organizations means that there is more accountability, more transparency, and essentially, if the need arises, and if an adult who is there in the community runs short of some money or help, then CovaiCare Trust is available to fill in that void, that shortfall in money. Of course, parents are expected to create a trust for a beneficiary trust for their person with disability, and they would be also putting into their wills the fact that certain monies will go into that trust.
So we had to actually work into certain factors, think about certain factors and work on the perceived capability of each PWD. The fact that over the last 8 months or more, they have not been doing any fruitful activity. Moreover, after coming into Kovai Chinmayam, it's a new environment, and for the parents as well as the PWD. Hence, the need was there for them to bond and acclimatize to the new environment in Kovai Chinmayam. So that's how we started. We just started something with the help of Ms. Achal Vaidyanathan, who gave us some tips about how to start it. But nothing very, it was nothing structured or whatever it is. Then after some time, after a year or 6 months into it, we did have some art and craft volunteers coming in. We had charted out a schedule and all that. The first 6 months or 8 months went off well. Then afterwards, we had one mentor and a warden coming in to our community. She was Ms. Shalu. She came and she started working with the children for more than 1.5 years. She gelled and we had a lot of programs. And now I can say that the children are so used to this, they are just thriving in this community and they are very happy.
So around 2013-14 is when this concept evolved, and Kovai Chinmayam was one of the first communities where this concept has been applied. A number of parents have joined this community. And now 7-8 years down the line, about 10 or 12 families have moved in. There are still a few families yet to move in, but they are part of the project. And an organization, initially it was assumed that it would be a trust, but discussions that happened along with Mr. Sridharan and chartered accountants and company law professionals, it was then decided to convert or create a company, a Section 8 company under the Companies Act 2013.
So this is the background with which we started.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, of course, we kept discussing it with Colonel, and we asked him what is he going to do about it, and he was also working from his end. And finally, we decided we will have a foundation, and for something for these children, and to ring fence this whole foundation or this hostel requirement for these children inside the community have been inclusive. Inclusive within the community, just to ring fence it so that in case somebody else takes over the community for whatever reasons, they are not affected and we still go on.
That's very interesting. I'd love to know why a Section 8 company and not a conventional trust.
I think the reason, as professionals, the auditors and the company law professionals who we had a meeting with, suggested a company because of taxation purposes. In a trust, it's likely that the income which is there of that trust at the end of the year could be taxed at the highest marginal rate for the trustees.
Both could have served the purpose, but with a Section 8 company, there's a lot of transparency, lot of compliances, and we have to adhere to certain rules and regulations. Perhaps with the trust, this cannot be done so well. So that was the idea behind it.
The other advantage of having a Section 8 company, which is essentially a mix of a private limited company and a trust, is that if work is done by these persons with disability in terms of creating products or offering services, then such products or services can be invoiced just like in a private limited company. A trust would have difficulty, generating invoices from a sales tax or a services tax perspective. So that's the real reason why it was decided that instead of a community trust, there would be a Section 8 company. And Section 8 companies can take names like foundation, etc. So what has been decided is that in every CovaiCare community where parents with special need adults parents exist, it would take the name of the community plus foundation. So for example, in our case, it is Kovai Chinmayam Foundation.
Right. And I'm sure you have needed lots of support professionally, financially, and information-wise. So could you kind of share the kind of support and things that you all needed and that you all received during the course of setting up the Section 8?
When we set up this this activity center, initially it was an activity center, the hub. The support given by Kovai Chinmayam or Kovai Property, can we say it is Kovai Senior Citizen, the community which takes care the service community, the service part which takes care of this center. They gave us a place for running this activity center.
Right.
So that was a great help to us because we didn't know where to start. We were not special educators. We were special educators in the sense that we have been living with these children and we have been
Yeah.
training only for our child. But when we came here, our concept was more diverse and more, it had expanded with so many adults with different needs and different disabilities, if I can call. And so we were very happy, and because the management of CovaiCare, they gave us this place, and that was free of cost.
I think the help that we got was essentially from the auditors of our organization and a practicing company secretary. These people, they helped to put together the initial requirements of company law in terms of an articles and memorandum of association. The process took 6 to 8 months to really flesh out, because we needed to make sure that the articles of association covered all the objects for which the foundation was being made. We needed to get decide who all the directors, the initial directors of that organization would be, and then of course the real process of registering each director with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and then finally filing the returns in terms of the forms in terms of the setup of the company.
But then how to start running it? The moment each one of us chipped in, I got 1,000, I should say I was still working from home at that time, and my boss said, keep this as a seed money. She just gave me 1,000 rupees when she walked in. It started with this seed money. So we did not have something very can I say how we can say that, very complicated. We wanted to keep it very simple.
So we started the process sometime, I think, in March of 22, and our foundation was registered in September 2022.
And some of the volunteers here, some residents also gave us donations. So we started around that, and for every little thing, Colonel used to come and he won't allow us to spend anything, and he will take the entire expense on himself. So initially we didn't feel the pinch of it.
I'm sure you faced a lot of challenges along this during this process. Could you tell me something about some of the challenges that you faced?
I'd like to break up these challenges into different areas. One is setting up the organization itself. One challenge that I do see is that a company like ours, which is limited by shares, has a lot of compliances that need to be adhered to. We go through the same rigors that a company, 1,000 or 10,000 times our size would have. We still have to file the same forms, comply with the same requirements in terms of meetings, timelines, penalties, etc. Getting different directors on board at different points in time also was a challenge in terms of making sure that their director information numbers were registered. Board meetings were held to take them on as directors.
But at a later stage, once we formed this foundation, we thought we need to be self-sufficient and independent of the Kovai management, so that we can run it ourselves. It's a very big task, and we hope to carry it on with the parents' support, and of course going forward maybe CSR funds or some other funds, and how exactly we are doing it evolves as we are working on it.
The other challenges, I would say, are in terms of getting parents together, because we are a fairly diverse set of parents in terms of age, demography, geography, and even in terms of our special adults, they are all of different abilities.
What about some of the operational issues that you face?
Our operational issues essentially have been in terms of running the organization. So we have an activity center which was started about 2.5 years ago. It was started more in an informal way before the foundation was created by a few parents who had moved in, and they were running it by engaging their young adults in activities in a space which has been provided by CovaiCare.
We didn't know how to start, how to go about it right in the first, because we had never set a school of this kind or a place of this kind. Just send our children, I go to work and come back. So I don't know what are the challenges at that point in time. So it was difficult because we were learning at every step. It was like baby steps, and still we are keeping the baby steps after the CCF has started. So we hope to take it forward for a very, very long time, which is our focus and our aim.
The concept, as I would encourage people to go and check on the website of CovaiCare, is that the parents are expected to purchase a villa within this community. Simultaneously, they give a deposit for a hostel room for their ward. Now, it is possible that that ward may be able to stay on his or her own in the villa of his or her parent after their time. But what we have decided in the master document for persons with disabilities is that irrespective of whether they can manage on their own or they would have a caregiver at their own premises, a room would be reserved for them in the hostel. This, I think, is very important because we have gone through about 3 years ago the situation of COVID-19, and in such a situation, if something like that happens again, what happens if the caregiver who is assigned to look after that person with disability within the parent's dwelling suddenly falls sick, goes on leave, gets married, something happens in their house? At that point, we may or may not have someone to immediately take care of that person with disability within their dwelling. So the idea is that in such a situation, the PWD comes to their hostel room, stays there, the warden is there, there will be caregivers, there are other persons with disability within the hostel, and care can be provided in a much more seamless way. So that's the real concept of care within the hostel as well as within the community.
I think you've covered many of the huge challenges that you all have faced, but let's focus on some of the big plus points, gains, and I'm sure there have been lots of aha moments along your journey. Could you share them with us?
During the course of the project, the aha moment was when they could just go on stage and just deliver. Of course, we trained them. However much is the training, but they never had any stage fright. They were very happy. They were very, very happy. And every little activity they did with a lot of enthusiasm and all that. Those were all, every day is an aha moment with them. Any little thing they do is an aha moment with them for us.
What I have noticed is that when they get together as a group, there are no barriers amongst them. We as adults, neurotypical adults, we tend to put up our own barriers. Whereas they don't, they just accept each other, they listen to each other, and that is the amazing thing that, we may disagree with another parent, but they just get along fine with each other. They play ball, they walk in the evenings, and parents who've come here, staying alone with their wards in whichever city they came from, they find a big change in that person with disability, communication, happiness, and suddenly you find them opening up, just flowering, and it's really beautiful to see. They love each other, they care for each other, they participate wholeheartedly in all programs, they have no inhibitions. We as adults, we want to stay away from the limelight, don't want to, sing or dance, but the PWDs are very, very happy to do that, and that energizes the rest of the community, because we in Chinmayam are about 20% of the potentially full size of this community.
I'm sure. And I think we'll wrap it up with maybe you could tell us something about where do you see CCF 10 years down the line?
We are the initial directors here. Maybe Mrs. Kalpana Kannan is also one more director, but right now she is not staying here. And because of this Section 8 company, there's a rule that every 2 years we keep rotating and retiring by rotation, so that other parents can come in and chip in and give their inputs and take it forward in a different light.
True.
So to the extent we saw it could evolve into a better place if more persons with a diverse background would come into it. So we are hoping with the other parents coming in, whoever is in the US or out of India, hopefully they would come maybe another 10 years down the line. They are younger than us because we are 60 plus, maybe kicking 70 right now. So younger parents would come and they would have a different concept and different ways of handling it, and we hope that it will become better and better and better.
I would say that most of the parents would have moved in. We would have evolved a lot more in terms of maturity of handling the situations and issues that come up. Our young adults would have moved into the hostel. In fact, what we are now planning is that as soon as the hostel is ready, and it will be ready in a couple of months' time, the warden will shift in there. And we will slowly start weeding off our young adults, getting them to stay overnight, in pairs in their own rooms or in whichever rooms are available. This way, we will be able to tackle the operational issues of running a hostel. So I see this in a very, very positive light, and I think I'm really looking forward to the next 10 years. And getting more involvement from the other directors who will now rotate through this organization.
Great. So the future looks really bright. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because we are very, very, we started on a positive note, so we don't want to be negative on that. So we are very, very optimistic it can happen. And of course, we have Colonel's support, who is the backbone of the whole thing. So hopefully we will take it forward.
Great. Thank you so much, Mrs. Kanthi Chari, and wishing you both all the best, and wishing CCF many, many more aha moments, great times.
Oh, every day is an aha moment for us. We have programs, every function or every month we have get-togethers, and we have our aha moments here. As residents, individually as residents, as well as parents of the PWD and for the PWDs, we are working towards it. All of them, especially here in the community being very small, the other residents are also very cooperative. That's very nice about it. And I should also add that the service staff are very, very good.
So I see this in a very, very positive light, and I think I'm really looking forward to the next 10 years and getting more involvement from the other directors who will now rotate through this organization.
And I'm sure you'd find a lot of resonance in Robert Frost's line, miles to go before we sleep.
Absolutely, absolutely. Miles to go before we sleep. And also Robert Bruce, who says, if you fail, keep trying. What
If at first
you don't succeed, try again. So we're going to keep trying. This is a project. This is not a product. This is not a ready product that you can just walk in and take off the shelf. So the involvement of each parent is critical. I think that is the bottom line, that we have to be involved, we have to look after each other, we have to look after each one of the PWDs. We are not here just for our own ward's sake. We are here for everybody's sake.
Thank you so much. All for one and one for all.
Absolutely.
I think that will be the motto of CCF. Thank you so much, Mr. Nair.
Thank you very much.